right, Shalom Israel. I like to start off by saying, Call Halal Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Let's all praises be unto the Most High Yahweh, and honor be unto His Son Yahushai. How y'all doing today? Got to talk about the Bible? No? All right. Sure. Do your fathers go back to men from the Middle East, Pakistan, Iran? Sorry. Do your fathers go back to people from the Middle East, Pakistan, or Iran? Where do your fathers go back to? Y'all are going into slavery, you know that, right? For the murder, rape, and robbery of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Though you might not be as bad as the white man, just know your people exploit us all the same. And you're going into slavery. You too are an enemy of God. Ishmael, Elam, y'all too you compose the heathen nations. You are confederate with Edom, the chief enemy of God. How y'all doing today? Got a moment to talk about the Bible? If you sisters go back to Native Hispanic or Native, the indigenous people, you are Israelites. If you're Mexicans, you're likely from the tribe of Issachar. All right, repent and keep God's laws. See, our people don't understand that the time is quickly approaching, that we are going to have a want for bread out here. You know, the food line's already starting to develop. All these other nations, if you're abreast the news that's going on around the world, all these nations are tightening their belts now. All these nations are approaching food shortages. How you doing, brother? Having a good day? All right, man, I know you're working, but why you here, man? I'm gonna try to edify you a little bit. Does your father go back to an indigenous Mexican person?
Sorry?
An indigenous Mexican person? Are you from this land?
I'm from here. Born and raised in San Antonio.
Did you know you're an Israelite according to the Bible?
Never mind.
According to the Bible, you're actually a child of God from the tribe of Issachar. Yeah, and just a little proof, the Bible actually talks about how Issachar is a strong ass, crouched down between two burdens. What's the animal from Mexico? The donkey, right? And what are you between? America, who's pulling in one direction, sending, DEA, ATF, all types of people putting drugs in your nation, and you got South America pulling in the other direction, right? Yeah, that's Issachar. Issachar in the Bible is the hardest working person on the planet. Issachar means he is higher in the Bible. That's why, without you, this place couldn't run. And they know that. You know what I'm saying? But brother, I know you gotta work. Just know you're an Israelite. If you got time, man, walk down here. I'll try to edify you every time you pass. All right, brother? All right. Not a problem, brother. But we're going to go ahead and start. We're going to grab Acts 13:1. Let's go ahead and get it. 13:1. So what we need to understand is that the racial pejoratives that come toward our people, toward black people, we're called niggers. Our Native American brothers are called tomahawks. Our Mexican brothers are called spicks and wetbacks. They call us all these names, but you need to understand, Israel, that this is not new. They've been calling us these names since antiquity, and I'm going to bring it out. This is the book of Acts, chapter 13 and verse 1. Now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon, and they were called nigger. So they've been calling us nigger forever. Nigger is a Latin term that means black. Right? They've been trying to separate us from our heritage since they laid hold on it during the Grecian captivity, where they sought to paint over the likeness of our images with their likeness. The concept of white Jesus is not anything new. The concept of white Jesus is something that they have been pushing and peddling since they first laid hands on our book. That's why when this white man gets mad, sometimes they don't have to get mad at all. Sometimes they'll just come right out and call you a nigga. But some of these Edomites walking around, they have a bit more restraint than their counterparts and their brethren. But if you dig deep enough and you stick around long enough, they'll call you a nigger. I'm gonna read it again. This is the book of Acts, chapter 13 and verse 1. Now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon, that were called nigger. So we need to understand, this is nothing new. These people that walk up and down stolen land, that venture across the oceans to steal other people's lands, not just the Israelites. The white man is in India harassing the Elamites. He's in Turkey harassing Ishmael. Granted, they're confederate together, but these other nations, they're tired of Esau. They're tired of the wickedness that Esau pushes in their nations, from homosexuality to pedophilia. They're tired of the fact that everything they do with Esau results in destroying the planet. It results in destroying the trees, the animals, and the people in their culture. The other nations are tired of it. But that's not the focal point of our lesson today. The focal point of the lesson is that Israel is chosen. Israel is a special people unto the Most High. And no one else is special to the Most High except for Israel. We're going to go deeper into the lesson. How you doing, sir? He got headphones, so he can't. Anyway. So we're going to get Amos 3 and 2. All right, let's go ahead and grab that. And I have a habit of when I'm going to a certain book, I'll look over what I have highlighted. That's why it's important to precept your Bibles, right? You know, you can look over things that you've looked at before, and you can essentially, embellish your point or bring in another precept. Because sometimes the Spirit will work through you just through happenstance. You'll pass through something that you've read before, but you couldn't recall it, and the Spirit will remind you, hey, look, this is something valuable to bring out. But let's go ahead. So let's get Amos real quick. All right, we're going to start at verse 1. How you doing today, sister? Got a moment to talk about the Bible? Y'all got a moment to talk about the Bible? Well, just so y'all know, if y'all go back to indigenous Mexican people, you're actually an Israelite in the Bible. Did you know that? That you're actually a child of God? You go back to the tribe of Issachar if your father is of this land, native. Did you know that? The Bible says y'all are the hardest workers on the planet. Did you know that you're a strong ass crashed down between two burdens? That's what Issachar... You're Native American? That also means you're an Israelite from the tribe of Gad or Reuben. Sister, talk to me. I can give you your heritage back. You're not a Native American. America was named after an Italian navigator named Amerigo Vespucci. You are not a Native American. Look into the Los Lunas stone. It had Paleo-Hebrew written upon it. Your people spoke Hebrew. You are a Hebrew Israelite, likely from the tribe of Gad. Gad means troop. That's why your people are drinking themselves to death on the reservations. Y'all going into slavery for the rape, robbery, and murder of God's chosen people. If you go back to European people, you Edomites are going to get back what you put out to God's chosen people. God ain't forgot nothing. He who leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He who killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. This is the patience and the faith of the saints. Us saints are waiting for you people gallivanting up and down stolen land to go into slavery, just like we did. It's funny how all these Edomites have no retort. But if there's a Black Lives Matter parade, all of you guys will be saying, I have black friends. I love black people. Where can I get my side? But the moment the judgment of the Bible comes out, you Edomites have nothing to say. It truly is a shame. But we're going to get it. This is Amos chapter 3 and verse 1. Hear this word that the Lord hath spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family, which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. So the Most High is saying that he's only dealt with Israel. We are the only nation that he has known, the 12 tribes of Israel. Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. If you do not fall within the constraints of those tribes, and you are not part of the Israelite diaspora that is all over the world, embedded in all nations, if you are not an Israelite, the Most High is not dealing with you. He does not hear your prayers. They fall on deaf ears. And your best bet is to get ready for slavery. We're going to get it again. This is the book of Amos, chapter 3 and verse 1. Hear this word that the Lord hath spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities. So the Most High is saying that he's going to punish the children of Israel for their sins, because we were the ones given the law. We were the ones given the covenants and the blessings. We are the ones put under the constraints of the law. Sir, if your fathers go back to Native, Indigenous, Hispanic people, you're an Israelite. I see you riding by every week, sir. You got salt on you. Come talk to me. I'm out here for my people, sir. If you're an Israelite, come talk to me. I'll give you your heritage back. You're not a Mexican. You're not Spanish. Some of these Spanish people are not Spaniards. They're Israelites who were expelled from Spain during the Spanish Inquisition. There was an expulsion of Jews from Spain and from Portugal. They don't talk about these things because history is largely covered up. The Edomite has obfuscated and confused everything. Most people don't even know where they truly derive from, but we can see it in your spirit. And this Bible discerns the spirit. But it's a shame most of our people won't even give a prophet the time of day just so they can get their heritage back. It truly is a shame. But back to the lesson. The Most High is only dealing with Israel. And that's not always a good thing right off the bat. Ultimately, it's the best thing that you could ever hope for. But when you put the Most High to wrath, you best believe that he's going to get all up in your ass for the sins that you do. You're going to pay the utmost price. But he is not going to make a full end of Jacob or Israel. He's going to discipline us with measure and correct us. And when we return to our state, he's going to put his laws in us. The kingdom of heaven, we are going to be in our right minds and we are not going to sin. Therefore, we will not die. But let's continue with the lesson here. Hold on 1 second. We're going to go to Isaiah 44 and 1. Actually, before we get there, we're going to bring out something else. How you doing today? Y'all going to talk about the Bible?
No, we're doing things.
Yeah, riding up and down stolen land. Y'all going into slavery for the rape, robbery, and murder of God's chosen people. Yeah, you smile now. We smiled when y'all pulled up until y'all handed us smallpox blankets. Until you guys started kidnapping women and children, raping children just like y'all do, whether it's in your Catholic church or your police departments. You all do the same thing, you Edomites. You can't help but be wicked and evil. You are the profane of the earth and hated of God. And y'all Edomites down there too, if you guys go back to Europeans, you're going into slavery for the rape, robbery, and murder of God's chosen people. If you happen to go back to one of the indigenous tribes that were here in America, that would make you an Israelite. If you're black, Hispanic, or Native American, you're an Israelite. If not, you are going into slavery for the crimes against God's people. But we're going to go ahead and grab this real quick. Hold on. 1 second. It truly is a shame when we look at our people, how we've decided to conjoin ourselves onto the heathen. We have indeed sullied ourselves. We are filthy with the sin and iniquity of these other nations. And I'm going to grab a scripture that says just that. This is the book of Hosea, chapter 13 and verse 9. O Israel, thou hast destroyed thyself, but in me is thine help. The Most High is telling us, in these other nations, when we take on their ways, their practices, we worship their idols, we have destroyed ourselves. All the things that make us special, all the things that make us precious in the eyes of the Most High, we discard those things in favor of doing what the beastly other nations do. The Bible literally refers to them as the beasts of the field. They are thought of as worth less than spit to the Most High. And we discard the laws, the treasures that the Most High gave us, our heritage, in order to join hands with an oppressor who cares nothing for us. We take on their ways just to debase and destroy ourselves. This is verse 9 again. O Israel, thou hast destroyed thyself, but in me is thine help. I will be thy king. Where is any other that may save thee in all thy cities? And thy judges, of whom thou saidest, give me a king and a prince. So the Most High is posing this question rhetorically. You know, he's essentially saying, like, not only have you destroyed yourself, but you did it seeking help from the other nations. You know, the question, I can almost imagine it being posed in a sarcastic manner. You know, as verse 10 says, I will be thy king. Where is any other that may save thee in all thy cities? The Most High is saying, I'm your king. But yet you seek help from elsewhere. Why? Y'all got something to talk about the Bible? Too busy riding up and down stolen land? The rape, robbery, and murder of blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, want to know? Y'all could go back to the caves. That'd make everybody feel better, especially Native Americans who are drinking themselves to death on the reservations that y'all put them on. They don't even have access to clean food and water. And to add insult to injury, you diabolical Edomites go onto their reservations, rape and kill their people, and then run off the reservations because you know they have no sovereignty. You people have no morals. But that's all right, because you're going into slavery. And the same thing you did to us, we're going to do to you. When you have children, we will sell them on auction blocks. When they're old enough to work in the fields, they're going to crawl their asses to the cotton field, and it's going to be a good time. We're going to love it. And when you get out of line, we're going to have a rod of iron to beat your sides in. We're going to do you like you did us. I'm going to have a photo album of all the scars I put on your back. I want to match all the photos you took of us being lynched, castrated, burned, and raped. I want to match it 2 to 1. As the Bible says, it will be rendered unto you, Edom, double. According to your works, and your works have been abominable. You white devils have done nothing but poison the air, poison the water, kill the animals, kill all the fruit-bearing trees. And you've done it for no other reason than to build a concrete jungle where no one has any rest, where everyone is enslaved. And to you, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you are God's chosen people. It is time you woke up to your true heritage. You are not Mexican. You are not Native American. America is named after an Italian navigator named Amerigo Vespucci. Africa is named after a Roman general named Leo Scipio Africanus. And you Edomites, you evil, nefarious white people are going into slavery for what you've done to God's chosen people. The rape, robbery, and murder will not go unanswered. So walk around with your head in the clouds, thinking that nothing is out of place. But surely your judgment is coming. Well, let's go ahead and get it. All right, it's going to be Isaiah 44. Got a second to talk about the Bible, sir?
Not at all.
No? If you go back to European people, you're going into slavery for the rape, robbery, and murder of black. Yeah, bullshit, nothing. We went into slavery to you, crackers.
No, you didn't.
Yes, we did. Who did your father go back to? Why don't you stop a second and plead your cause?
Shoot, fucker.
Fuck nothing. When I'm beating your back in and cutting your tongue out in the kingdom, I want to hear all that energy then. See, you speak wickedly concerning oppression. Our oppression means nothing to you people. We build your country. We've done everything for you. Our women breastfed your children. You Edomites are nothing in the eyes of God, and judgment is coming to you. You sisters have a moment to talk about the Bible. You look to be Mexican. You are God's chosen people from the tribe of Issachar. That's why you work as hard as you do, and you are not thanked by anyone, because you are God's chosen people. Your forefather was named Issachar. His name means he is hired. You have a gift in you put by the Most High. Come learn your heritage. Brother across the street, come learn your heritage. You look like you are from the southern kingdom if your father is a black man. That would make you from the tribe of Judah, or the tribe of Benjamin, or the tribe of Levi. Learn your heritage, brother, so that you can lead your people and we can get the hell out of this captivity. But Israel don't want it. They don't want it. Meanwhile, Moab is walking up and down the streets that we built. Ain't that something? The white man opened the door and said, come on over here, heathen friends. Come enjoy what I have these niggers and spicks build for me. Come enjoy the inventions that they made for us. From the car, to the television, to the internet. We made everything here, and yet you heathen come over and you treat us like trash in our own neighborhoods. Got the nerve to say we should be standing with you Asians, and yet my people fall by the sword of the white man every day, and you do nothing. I've heard nothing from the Asian community about the oppression that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans face, but yet every damn post on Facebook, stand with Asians. Guess what? I'll stand with you as I whip your back in on the cotton field. You're going into slavery along with your damn brother Edom. All right. Let's grab. What was it? Slock is. Slock. Oh, yeah, we're going to grab that too. All right. We're going to take a slight detour. All right. This is Isaiah 31 and 1. This is Isaiah 31 and verse 1. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help, and stay on horses, and trust in chariots, because they are many, and in horsemen, because they are very strong. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord. So our people are constantly looking to the same people, putting us in slavery, putting us in the state of being oppressed, constantly killing us. We look to the same people doing all these things to us to resolve our problems, to liberate us from the prisons, to liberate us from the poverty that they put us in. But yet the Most High, His Word tells us that we do these things, and it calls us fools for it. Y'all got a moment to talk about the Bible? Y'all got a moment to talk about the Bible? Did you know Edomites are going into slavery for the rape, robbery, and murder of God's chosen people? What you guys did to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, there's a judgment coming to you all for that. Did you know that? As you guys walk up and down stolen land, the people that you oppressed are still in prison, still suffering the scars of the rape, robbery, and murder that you put them through. But don't worry, Edomites, as you slather yourselves in sunscreen and try to convince yourself that you don't look like a worn leather bag, you're going into slavery. Don't worry, you're going to be gainfully employed, because that's all you guys care about is money. And trust me, on the plantation, you'll earn plenty of it. You're going to earn it for the Israelites, who will be your masters. And as you laugh to yourself, just know the rape, robbery, and murder that you put on my people is coming back to you. That is what you fear. You fear what you did to us being done to you. And I'm here to tell you today, the Most High has written it in stone. Your asses are going into slavery, and it's going to be a great day for all. This is Isaiah chapter 14 and 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? You white people have done nothing but weaken the world. You've destroyed the air, the water, the food. You've destroyed the people. If you sisters go back to Native Americans or Native Hispanics, you are Israelites. Repent and keep the laws. You are God's chosen people. And if that's an Edomite behind you, separate from your enemy. It will behoove you to do so, sister. I'm going to get it again. This is Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? Our people don't understand. All Lucifer means is light bearer. And if you're the light bearer, that means you're the leading power or agent of the world, of the nations. So America is obviously Lucifer, or in this case, New Babylon, but Lucifer, because they are leading the world. They're the ones. They're the premier superpower of the world. They're the premier economic power of the world. Yes, that is quickly changing. But the Edomite, in and of itself, or in and of themselves, have been given the earth to abuse as they please until the time of Israel being trodden down by the Gentiles be fulfilled. Esau gets to explore and enjoy his blessing. Not so much now, because we're at the twilight of everything, but that is what he has been doing for the last couple of 100 years. But that's something that we have to take into consideration. The Bible puts us up on game in regards to all these things, right? It tells us that these heathen powers are fallen. And in this case, it says, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? Heaven just means power. Like the powers, the nations. Heaven just means nations, power. Like if you are in heaven, if you are in your heaven, that means you are in the prominence of your power. You are in charge. And that's why our people, we don't understand that heaven and hell, that's a bait and switch that these Edomites gave to us as we had to drink of the cup of trembling and descend into hell. You got a moment to talk about the Bible? No? That's good, because you guys know you're going into slavery for the rape, robbery, and murder of God's chosen people, right? The people that you're still putting in prison, the people that you guys are still shooting in the streets, the people that you throw in prison in record numbers, talking about you freed us with the Emancipation Proclamation, then quickly instituted Jim Crow so that you could put us back in slavery. That's funny. You white people walk past the same people that you oppress, pretending like we're not here. But I want to see you do that when we crack the whip on your back. But we're going to go ahead and get it and go a little further. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. This is talking about North America, in the sides of the north. And that's exactly where they're at right now as they sit upon the congregation of Israel, exploiting our might, exploiting our ingenuity, exploiting every facet of our being for their own gain. This Bible is telling us what's going on. And it's also telling us that what's going on to us now in present day, the oppression, it's going to end. Let's go ahead and grab what we intended to grab. This is Isaiah chapter 44 and verse 1. Yet now hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen. Thus saith the Most High, that made thee and formed thee from the womb, which will help thee. Fear not, O Jacob, my servant, and thou, Jeshurun, whom I have chosen. The Most High chose Israel, and he did not choose these Edomites who walk up and down stolen land, who rape, rob, and murder God's chosen people, and yet have the audacity to say that Christ came for everybody. Laugh it up, because soon we will be cracking whips over your back. We will do to you as you did to us. I can't wait until I get to pose for the camera at the first lynching of an Edomite. I'm going to do to you as you did to us. I'm going to smile and bring my children just as you did, to let them know this is a wicked man that suffered the penalty that the wicked should suffer. Dude, my foot's cut. Anyway, we're going to get it again. This is Isaiah. This is Isaiah chapter 44 and verse 1. Yet now hear, O Jacob my servant, and Israel whom I have chosen. Thus saith the Lord, that made thee and formed thee from the womb, which will help thee. Fear not, O Jacob, my servant. Fear not, Jeshurun, whom I have chosen. So the Most High chose us. See, this is one of the things that, for all the so-called love that these other nations say they have for the Most High, they surely don't respect the position and the opinions and the wants and desires of the Most High. The Most High is doing all his pleasure when he chose Israel. And that is something that the Most High decided. That wasn't based on some type of, interpretation of an Israelite or another person. That is what the Most High did. He created his son, and his son created the 144,000, and then from there they created the Israelites and the rest of the world. We were known of from the foundations of the earth. You got a second to talk about the Bible?
Yeah.
Yes?
I'm a
Sure. Who's your father go back to? Like, does he go back to like native Hispanic people or?
Actually, I'm not sure. My feelings are all bad.
Well,
I really have it like a mom.
well, excuse me. Oh, sister, did you know you're likely an Israelite if your father is from Mexico, from the native Hispanics? That would make you from the tribe of Issachar. Either way, so in this book, the way that your relationship is with the Most High or God is going to be determined by your lineage, right?
What do you mean?
So if
Your race?
well, it's not your race because race denotes color for the most part.
Yeah.
Color has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Because for instance, I go back to the tribe of Judah, and I obviously look like a Negro man.
Yeah.
But if my father had slept with a white woman, and then his son slept with a white woman, and his son slept with a white woman, they would still have a Judite son.
Yeah.
Because the father involved is, in fact, a Judite. So that's why I asked you who your father is. Hey, you brothers, I'm sorry, while you're here, do you have a moment to talk about the Bible? Well, do your fathers go back to native Hispanic people? Is your father from this land? Is he native Hispanic? You're not too sure? You should find that out because you look like you're probably Mexican. Are you Mexican? You're mixed? What's your father? Is he white? He's mixed too? You should find out who his father is. Because this Bible, if you believe in the Bible, whether you do or not really, if you're a Mexican, that would mean that you're from the tribe of Issachar. You would be one of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. That would make you a child of God and also a recipient of the promises, right? Now, if you go back to Spanish or Spaniard people, that would make you an Edomite. And Edomites are going into slavery. Are you aware of the transatlantic slave trade and everything the white man did when he got here? Yeah, he's getting all that back. All of it. And if you're an Israelite, you're going to be the one doing it to him. You're going to have a rod of iron, you're going to be beating his back. And don't look at him. Because the thing is, if he's a white man, he needs to accept this judgment. Right? Because you know the things that your people did to us.
It's not just that. Look what they did to England.
Yeah.
That ain't fair. Israel was no, I mean, I think Columbus came over here and he went back and snitched and told, plain Israel, they started sending ships over there and all that. They showed this, this is like some corn, they go around planting them and they slaughtered every damn one of them and forced them off the land.
Did you know King?
Until they got two little pieces of property. One's in fucking Oklahoma and the other's in Arizona. That's the only way they make a little thing like this. Out of thousands,
Reservations.
thousands of Indians. And how are they going to fight cavalry soldiers so all they have is
No, you hold on, because I'm here, I'm teaching, I'm not being taught.
Yeah.
Right? So the Indians, they didn't fall because they weren't as mighty as the European colonizers. They fell because they knew they had been worshiping other gods, and the Most High sent his sword, which is the white man. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Who's your father? Because that's going to dictate whether I talk to you.
My father's white and
Caucasian?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that would make you an Edomite.
Yeah.
Right? And are you sorry for what you've done to the
I
Israelites?
didn't really do it. I mean, I had no control of my ancestors. You know what I'm saying? I'm just speaking the truth. And it wasn't right. What I meant to say, because Fort Sam came through here, and when they came in with power and muskets and forced them off this land, I mean, they had no chance. They just hunted buffalo. They had laid down in hay and barely had a couple of hunters. They wouldn't sit up for that. And they just slaughtered all the women and children and everything. I mean, this is what tells the truth.
Are you familiar with the history of how guns were, how they evolved? The musket was a very inaccurate weapon, and it also took over a minute to reload. If you believe that people who need sunscreen to go out in the sun don't know the lay of the land, don't know how to farm food, don't know how to survive winters, managed to outgun and just beat down the people who did simply because they were stronger than them, you're deluded. No, this happened. This happened because it happened because it's a curse from the Most High. But I'm just going to give you your judgment because y'all are going into captivity, right? So hold on 1 second while I get through.
I understand exactly what you're saying. And it wasn't right, but I didn't have no control of that. So I just felt like I probably had stuff to do.
Shit. I always forget that one.
Is that King James Bible?
Yes, sir.
That's what I got.
Okay, that's cool.
Let's see, keep going.
I always forget that. I think it's in Isaiah. So it goes as follows. So Revelations 13 and 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience in the faith of the saints. So one of the things that's going to happen to you all is because of the rape, robbery, and murder that you've done to the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Y'all are going to go into captivity for double the amount of time. Instead of 500 years, it's going to be 1,000.
Yeah, I know that.
Right? But are you sorry for the things that your ancestors did?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't right. That's what I'm saying, man. It's just, it's hard to do it. They come over here, first of all, and they had power, cannons and everything else, and there's no way you can sit up and ready for that. I need to keep the land. judgment on, because of your character. Just put out there. And things that were happening. And come back and will.
Well, hold on 1 second. I might just go this way. So one of the things that you said was, you said essentially like you didn't have anything to do with that because that was your fathers and stuff, your ancestors.
And it wasn't right though.
Definitely one right. Hold on 1 second. So one of the things that the Bible talks about is preparing slaughter, right, for his children. I'm gonna read it to you. So this is gonna be Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 21. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. So you saying that it was your father, you're right, it was him. But did you know that you come back in the regeneration every 3 to 4 generations? That's why everybody has that feeling of deja vu. You've had that before, right?
Yeah.
You go, man, I've been here before. That's because you have been here before. That's why the Bible also says there's nothing new under the sun. So when you say that was my ancestors, all you're saying to me is that was me. It's the context of your understanding. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
But, so one of the things that you can do is, and actually I'm going to get it for you. So this is going to be Isaiah chapter 49 and 23. And kings shall be thy nursing fathers, and queens thy nursing mothers. Right? Because y'all are in power right now. And when you guys go into slavery, you're going to be our servants, our nursing mothers, cooking our food, breastfeeding our children, just like we did to you. Correct. That's right. They shall bow down to thee with their face toward the earth and lick up the dust of thy feet. So what that means is if you're really sorry, if you're acknowledging that what this book is saying is right, not only will you bow down with your face toward the earth, but you'll literally lick up the dust of my feet. I don't want you to lick my shoes, but if you want to do the gesture of bowing down, hey, that goes a long way. Because when times come around, there are going to be Israelites that you interacted with, and they're going to be amongst the elect, those who are saved from the destruction that's coming here. And it's coming.
It's coming. I know it. I feel it. And I said, I know. What you said makes a lot of sense. I didn't know that. I mean, that whole little scenario right there. And now, that makes a whole different way of my thinking. I mean, I didn't know that. So being woken up to that, that changed my whole thinking.
You really might want to do some research on where you come from.
Yeah.
Because most white people, when they hear that, they automatically go into defensive.
Yeah,
Jesus came for everybody when Jesus said he was only sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
But that's because they're doing the work. It's their fault. They're not.
Well, it is their fault.
Well, I mean, they're not open. They're not really understanding the Bible. I read it in more of a scientific way, or more of a whole different kind of way than people. I look at everything.
Sure.
And a lot of things researched in it and stuff. They're really down to so many ways. There's never a church the Bible. They took way back in 1500. I mean, all that because there's some people that don't believe the Bible. What they just did was just get law and government. And that's what people say, go in chaos. Scare people. It was sent out by Bible for a reason.
For Israel. It was for God's chosen people and no one else. That's why if you read, have you read the book of Maccabees? Where it talks about how when they were...
I ain't getting into a whole lot of that.
Well, you should. It talks about Maccabees, I think it's 1. Talks about during the Grecian captivity when the Grecians basically opened the Bible and they were trying to paint over the art that was in their books. They were writing over the scriptures, trying to basically erase the Israelites out of the Bible. So this whole idea that Jesus Christ is a white man and that he came for everybody, this is nothing new. But that's where our conversation ends, unfortunately, because unless you're willing to bow down and say give apologies for what your people did, I don't. Unfortunately, this is not for you.
Yeah, I know. It'd be like working on something. I know what you're saying. I like myself. You said that helped my whole way of thinking. Because like I said, I'm just being honest. It wasn't right. I mean, they didn't have a chance.
Sure.
But what you're saying is, like, that's true. It's not. That's how it's going to go, and that's how it's going to get played. That's how it's going to dictate.
Did you want to bow down and say you're sorry? Okay, go ahead.
I mean, I'm sorry. My ancestors wanted to get it good, but it wasn't right. And I was just.
There you go.
I forgive my brother.
All right, that's good. You good?
No, I forgive the ignorance of the people of my people for being ignorant. But it is what it is, and it will come back.
Yes, sir. If I see you, if I'm one of the Israelites who say, what's your name? Gerald? Daryl. Daryl, I'm gonna remember you.
Okay.
All right? I'm gonna remember you, and I want you on my plantation. Just like on the plantations, y'all had house Negroes. We gonna have some of y'all in the house too.
Yeah.
You know, look at Daniel. Daniel, he went into slavery too, and Daniel was right up under the rule. So just because you're going into slavery doesn't mean that you're automatically just going to be, getting abused all the time. You know, one of the things that a lot of well, I mean, it is a cycle, but one of the things that we don't understand is that the Most High, He orders the steps of men. Yeah. He can order your enemies to be at peace with you. He can also order your enemies to go to war with you. It's all up to Him. He orders the steps of men. But I'm going to let you go, man. All right, Daryl.
Have a good day.
I'm going to remember you. God bless you too, man. And actually, Daryl, if you want to do me one more favor before you go, tell every Black, Hispanic, and Native American person that you meet that they're an Israelite. Yeah. And to go back to their heritage and to keep the laws of God. Okay. All right? And to you Edomites, the rest of you white people walking up and down God's stolen land, y'all are going into slavery for the rape, robbery, and murder of God's chosen people. And to you other nations who've joined on to the white man, to dogpile onto the Israelites, you too are going into slavery. You too. And I know y'all aren't built for it. Not very strong or fast. But don't worry, we gonna get that weight up. When y'all carrying back them 30-pound bags of cotton every day, knowing that your children are never gonna be seen again, y'all gonna get real strong. Oh yeah. It's gonna be a good time. All right, let's get back to the lesson. I can't believe I forgot the scripture, man. All right. So Isaiah. One second. Salaki. Yeah, I see. Got it. All right. Beautiful. We're going to go to Matthew 25. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 35 and verse 32. And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats. And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, and the goats on his left. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. So this idea that everybody gets to go to heaven, that Jesus came for everybody, it is a constant theme throughout the Bible that is not true, right? This verse here is saying that he is going to separate us, the Israelites, from the heathen. And those who are separated on the right hand, who are Israelites, the kingdom of heaven is prepared for them who kept God's laws. The kingdom of heaven is prepared for them who kept his instructions, who kept the faith and endured the persecution, who didn't cast away their bowels to fit in better in this hell known as Babylon. This is something that our people need to take to heart. Because if the Most High has to separate you, it's just like if you and your brother or any of your siblings growing up were fighting. You can either break it up before dad gets home, or you can keep fighting until mom and dad get home, and then they have to break it up. I don't know about y'all, but in my household, if my parents had to break me and my brother up from fighting, we was going to get messed up that night. How much more so from the Most High? The Most High has given us a grace period to come back to our heritage, to come back to our senses and remember our first estate, and to keep the law, statutes, and commandments that were laid forward for us. But we're going to grab this one more time. This is St. Matthew, chapter 35 and verse 32. And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats. So this whole idea that we're all going to just join hands and walk into the kingdom, that is fallacious. It is completely untrue. And any white man or so-called Christian pastor who's coming to you with the Rainbow Coalition ideology, you need to tell them to come out of that Bible or shut their mouths. Because these people, their mouths must be stopped. And what better way to do it than to cut them with the scriptures? Well, let's go ahead and go to the next verse. Or actually, let's go to the next book. We're going to go to Jeremiah 4:22. Right, let's see. Got some invites walking up. Y'all got a second to talk about the Bible? Y'all got a second to talk about the Bible? No? All right. Well, if your fathers go back to European people, white people in general, y'all are going into slavery for the rape, robbery, and murder of God's chosen people. So what y'all did to us, we're going to do to you. We're going to beat your backs in. We're going to hang you from trees. It's going to be a great time. The same things that you did to God's chosen people will be done back to you double. The way you used to sell our children. The way when Christmas time used to roll around. That was the time where you would move your slaves from plantation to plantation. It was a dreaded day for us. We would never see our loved ones again. Just know your indifference shown this day. This will be the sin that pursues you on the day of judgment. Anyway. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 4 and verse 22. For my people is foolish. They have not known me. They are sottish children. They have none understanding. They are wise to do evil, but to do good they have no knowledge. Our people are overachievers when it comes to sin and sinful behavior in general. When you look at all the debauchery that the world is clinging on to now, that has been mainstream, Jake is at the forefront of that. Jake is at the forefront of twerking. Jake is at the forefront of making it rain at the strip club. Jake is at the forefront of waking up and the first thing he does after he rolls out of bed is cracks a beer or smokes a blunt. We're the kings of this behavior. We're the queens of this behavior. Or I should say princesses, because a queen just means a prostitute. None of the women of Israel, the daughters of Zion, are queens. But the princes and the princesses of Israel, we excel in wickedness. And yet, even in our debased and wicked estate, we still have a zeal to call out to God and to thank God and to praise God. But it's not according to knowledge. I'm going to get it one more time. This is Jeremiah chapter 4 and verse 22. For my people is foolish. They have not known me. They are sottish children. And they have none understanding. They are wise to do evil, but to do good they have no knowledge. That's why when you ask Jake, what day is the Sabbath? Jake don't know. And Jake doesn't consider. It never occurs to Jake that they're in the oppressed position that they're in for a reason. As a matter of fact, the wickedness of this devil Esau and his education system is robbing our people of what little ignorance they had. Now our kids don't know nothing. Shit, they don't know about the transatlantic slave trade. They don't know how the Europeans displaced the Native Americans. They don't know how the European displaced the Native Mexican. They don't know how their Native American brothers have been shoved onto reservations. They don't know that they're still trying to run pipelines through their land, etc., etc. They don't know about everything that's going down in South America and how all these people are deserting and leaving their lands because the violence from the drug trade is so prevalent that the people have to leave. They're not aware of the food shortages going on right now in South America. But see, all these things that people are ignorant about, they're going to get a woeful awakening. And it's going to come in short order. And those of you who are caught lacking, those of you who are caught without your righteous garment, without the law, statutes, and commandments, you are going to fall by the sword or perish by famine. And those of you who still manage to get through that and haven't repented, you are going to be cut down by the thermonuclear fire that's going to find this place. Because these other nations ain't playing no more. They are not playing. They are sick of America. Well, let's go ahead and go to what we got it. Is there anything else on that? I passed by some other stuff that I wanted to grab real quick. Just one second. And see, one of the things that we have to understand while we're in Babylon is that the Most High is trying us. See, this process is not just for punitive measures. Part of this is to try us, to see who is going to shine, to see who is going to call out to God, to see who is going to keep their estate and keep the laws. We're going to go ahead and grab Isaiah, and this is what? 56? No, 66. Y'all got more to talk about the Bible? No?
We're believers, so.
Oh, y'all, did you guys know that Jesus only came for the Israelites? Did you guys know that? He didn't come for anybody else? It was out of his own mouth. He said, I'm not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. What do y'all think of that? No?
Tell me more.
Well, I mean, there's really nothing more for you because you guys are going into slavery for the rape, robbery, and murder of God's chosen people. That's also in this book. Have you guys read the book of Obadiah that talks about the judgment coming to Edom, which is your people? How it describes the nature of how you guys destroy all the water and the air. You destroy the people. You oppress a man in his heritage, even in his own house. Y'all aware of that?
Yeah,
It talks about y'all.
What do you mean by you guys?
You white people. You Europeans.
Oh, okay.
Edomites. Yes, you. You weren't clear on that? Anybody else did that in history that you know of?
No, I think
No?
our recollection, Jesus died for everyone.
And where does
Not
it say that in his book?
Jews and Gentiles. That's what all his
And
disciples.
where does it say it in the book?
I guess we could sit down and talk to it.
I'm out here. I mean, if you could show me that, I will literally pack up and leave. Because if you guys are going to be in the kingdom of heaven, raping, robbing, and killing everything still, I really don't want to be there. It's going to look a lot like this if y'all are there.
Why would you pack up and leave? I don't understand.
So what are you here just
To wake up my people. Blacks,
Got it.
Hispanics, and Native Americans.
Oh, okay.
For instance, I'm called an African American. Did you know America was named after an Italian navigator named Amerigo Vespucci? And Africa was named after a Roman general named Leo Scipio Africanus? So when I say you oppress a man in his own house, even his heritage, you know, when I say that, I know I just butchered it, but you oppress a man in his heritage, even in his own house, that's what you do. You rob us of who we are. And you guys went to painstaking lengths to do it. Those of us who could read during slavery, you would lynch us. And you wouldn't just hang us. You would do things like draw and quarter us between horses. You would hang us up on trees while men, not women, would cut our genitals off. Some of you would eat them. Come. How does it feel to come from? I'm curious.
Sure.
Just lock it out.
It seems a bit out of our control.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
But it's
we
still
were just
happening.
born.
How is it out of your control and it's still happening? I read an article today that one of my people were cut down in the streets by one of your police officers who was too scared to essentially just go, hey, stop. But you weren't scared. See, the thing is, the Bible talks about how y'all want to kill us anyhow.
Are you from Black Hebrew Israelites, by the way? Is that the group you're
I have a question. How are we the Black Hebrew Israelites when the Israelis are not Israelites?
I'm just curious. I heard of that group before. I didn't know if that's kind of what part that you're part of.
No, but I'm asking you a question. I'm trying to provoke.
He was just wondering if there was a
I know, I understand that, and I'm trying to provoke you to think. Because that question that you asked me is a fallacious question. If I'm saying blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are Hebrew Israelites. Are Hispanic people black? Are Native Americans black? So how are we the black Hebrew Israelites if two of the groups I mentioned are black?
I'm just
Food
saying.
for thought.
I
Y'all
know
going
there
into
is a
slavery.
group that
I'm not
follows.
giving you any of the pearls because I don't cast my pearls before swine. You're going into slavery for what you did to our people.
I think everyone's going into slavery.
No, everyone. Why
thought-
would the Israelites go into slavery twice?
Because they're sinners too. Everyone is going to die because
And
of sin.
our iniquity is accomplished. Didn't we pay for our sin? Did we not pay in slavery? All the drawing and quartering, the buck breaking. Did you guys know the biggest, baddest slave on the plantation? Y'all would actually bolt him to the floor, and you would invite trains of men to come rape that one man in front of his family and his children. And you're telling me the Israelites, after going through all that, they have to suffer with you in slavery again?
Can I just say something? I just feel like you're coming very argumentatively and like we love you.
Oppression maketh a wise man mad. Should I not be angry?
You can be.
And should I not be angry at the people doing it to my people?
We would
Then
love.
you've answered your own
But
question.
I just want to let you know that we love you regardless.
I don't want your love, Edomite, because you know what happens when you love me? I lose my heritage. I lose my music. I lose my art. I lose my history. I'm named after a slave owner. Did you know that? All the people that you know who are Israelites, they're named after Spanish people. They're named after white slave owners. And yet you say you love me. Where is your love?
So what would you propose that we would do?
There's a police department right down there. You figure it out. What do you want to do? Nothing, right? You can't think of nothing. I need to direct you every step of the way. So if I told you to go down there and make a complaint and tell them to stop harassing blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, would you do it?
If you told me that they
Go ahead and go do that. Don't do it. And let me know what they tell you.
Have they harassed you recently?
Oh, yes. Yes. That's a daily occurrence.
See, we're not from here, so I would never.
Where are
even
you
know
from?
that.
Where are you from? This mystical land where blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans aren't oppressed. Where is this place so
Oh,
I can go there?
I think people can be oppressed everywhere, but
But where are you
in
from?
our
I'm
community, Pennsylvania.
Oh, you mean Pennsylvania? One of the areas where blacks and Hispanics, well, during slavery, we were being returned from New York and Pennsylvania back to the South.
Actually,
Y'all
in
literally
Pennsylvania,
had groups of men.
Slavery was illegal in
Y'all had
Pennsylvania.
militias set up. It wasn't illegal. Y'all had a whole business dedicated to catching runaway slaves
No,
and
William-
returning them to the South.
William Penn, who founded our state, was against slavery. He was one of the only colonies that said we're not doing slavery.
He was so against it that more lynchings happened in the northern states than happened in the South. Did you know that?
In the northern states, but not Pennsylvania.
Y'all going into slavery. See, this whole idea that you can just carve up the good white people and the bad white people, there were good so-called black people that went into slavery, were there not?
Yeah.
Do you think they deserved it? But it was a punishment from the Most High God. So if you think you're a good white person, and yet all these bad white people are going into slavery, where do you think you're going? Right with them, right? And do you think you deserve it?
We deserve the grace of God at all.
I'm sorry?
I don't think that we deserve the grace of God.
No. I didn't ask you if you deserve the grace of God because you don't have it anyway. Do you deserve to go into slavery with the so-called bad white people? Is what I ask. Then what is the point of contention? You guys know what you've done.
Okay, so we're going into
So
slavery.
keep walking. I don't know why you stopped.
Because I just wanted, I'm interested in hearing what you had to say, that's all.
And I'm interested in telling you you're going into slavery.
I got the message.
All right.
What's your name, by the way?
Why would I give you my name, devil? You don't seem to understand that we don't like your people. We remember what you've done to us and what you do to us.
You know what, there's a time I didn't like you either, but for Jesus Christ, I feel like
Look
I
here,
have love
devil.
for you now.
I know you don't like me.
And I can love you now. Yes,
You
I do
you
love
can't love me. How can you love me?
Because I love a
Give
lot
me
of
back
people.
my great-grandfather that you lynched. Give him back.
It wasn't me.
Oh, it wasn't you.
It was people probably in my descendants who I came
Oh,
from. That
okay.
has nothing to do
Is that
with
why
it.
the Bible says prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers? Oh, yes. So, when you say I'm supposed to forgive and love you, you need to understand, you are your forefathers. More and more of our people are going to stand up and tell you to your face that you are the devil that the Bible speaks of. Die slow, devil. Die slow, devil. Yeah. You got a second to talk about the Bible?
No, I'm good, man.
Walking up and down stolen land? You good?
I'm good.
Yep, going into slavery for the rape, robbery, and murder of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. That time is coming. That judgment is coming. And you all earned it. Did you know that you all used to actually cut women open and put cats and dogs in their innards? You used to actually hang us by our tongues. Or how about your favorite Edomite man? You used to defecate in our mouths and seal our mouths shut. These are all things your people did. Talking about you love blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And brother going down the stairs, if your parents go back to Native Hispanic people, you would be an Israelite from the tribe of Issachar. If you go back to Native Mexican people, is that where your father goes? I'm sorry, sir, I can't hear you. Is your father a Native Hispanic person? I'm sorry? Is your father a Native Hispanic person? Yes? Did you know you're an Israelite according to the Bible? That you're actually a child of God? I can tell you who your tribe is. Come learn a little bit about your history. See, I'm out here for you. Just know the Edomites walking behind you, y'all are going into slavery. This ain't for you. But, sir, you are from the tribe of Issachar. Issachar. Did you know that the Bible talks about how you guys are the hardest workers on the planet? Did you know that? Do you think that's true? That you guys work harder than anybody else? I think it's true. I know it's true. As my brother, I'm from the tribe of Judah. We have our gifts, but you're Issachar, and you have yours. And I can say for certain, your people work harder than any other people on the planet. Yeah, man, come get your heritage back, man. Come get that heritage, man. Because these white devils are not going to tell you who you are. They're never going to tell you who you are. Your father's a Mexican man?
Yeah.
So I'm reading the Bible, and I'm reaching out to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, letting them know that you are God's chosen people. And I'm also giving the judgment to the people who put your people in slavery. See, the book talks not only just about the promises of heaven and redemption and salvation, it talks about judgments that are going to go forward to the people who raped and robbed your ancestors. Have you ever read this book by chance? Like, has anybody actually read it, or have they held it up and just kind of talked about it and then asked for money? Yeah, I don't want a dime from it. I want you to wake up as an Israelite and realize that you're special and chosen of the Most High. And when you look in the eyes of these so-called white people walking up and down your land, Texas is your land. This is your land. They walk up and down your land, throwing their trash where they will. You can say that. You know, because the Bible tells you, cry loud, spare not, lift up your voice like a trumpet, and show my people, the Israelites, their transgressions. So I'm supposed to try to wake you up.
To the enlightened.
Well, not just enlightened.
Right.
So how old are you? I'm curious.
I'm 18.
You're 18? All right. So you at the age where, like, enlightenment, spiritual journey, you're on your spiritual journey, you're trying to figure out what's going on in the world. I understand it, brother. You know, while I was out in the world, I did a lot of, I know every Christian person says they did a lot of drugs. I did a lot of drugs. But the thing is, I'm not Christian. And you know what all that stuff that I did got me? Nothing. I didn't learn anything. At the end of doing all those drugs, I didn't know that I was a Judite. I still thought I was a black man. I still thought I was the person that these Edomites named me, an African American.
Hi.
You know y'all going into slavery, right? For the murder, rape, and robbery of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And that's according to the Bible. God didn't come for you. God don't love you. Jesus was only sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. See, when you learn these books, normally a white man like that, if you had done that over you, he would have yelled at you. He might have pulled his gun out, right? But when you come with these scripts, with the word of God, they know in their heart that they did that stuff to us. Excuse me, brother. Do you have a moment to talk about the Bible? I'm sorry, brother. Well, brother, if you come from a native Hispanic, if your father's a native Hispanic, did you know that you're an Israelite according to the Bible? That you're chosen of God? Either way. But, yes, did you have any other questions, or did you want to, because I got plenty to show you if you have time.
Yeah, no, I'm running late.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that you stopped. Do you know the name of God before you go?
I was just curious. God.
So they're going to tell you that God is his name. It's not. God is a title. God just means power.
Right? He put that on the
Well,
title.
so God put that title on himself. So when you read the Bible, you need to read it with a lexicon. What a lexicon is, it's going to tell you, because the Bible was translated from Greek and Hebrew, that lexicon is going to tell you what each word corresponds to in terms of its Greek or its Hebrew original word. So, for instance, the book of Genesis, right? If you go to Genesis 1 and 1, I just want to demonstrate this for you right now, okay? Because I'm going to demonstrate that your pastor had no understanding of the Bible. Absolutely not. So it says, Genesis 1 and 1, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Now, the term God, when it's referring to the Most High, it's in all caps. It's not in all caps. So what word is there? The word that's there is Elohim, or Elohim. You've heard that word probably in passing.
Yeah,
All that means is angels. The powers, it's a plural form of angel, or plural form of powers. But we call them angels. All an angel is a messenger of God. Does that make sense? So, if Genesis 1 and 1, you know who you are, brother? All right, come on. All praise to the Most High. But the term Elohim is just plural for angels or powers. And when it says that God made the heavens and the earth, that's the term that's there. So what does that tell you? God, the Most High, didn't do nothing. His workers did it. Because who's an angel? I just said it. They're a messenger, right? The messengers of God. So if the messengers of God did what your pastor is saying the Most High did, that means from the get-go, from the very first verse of the Bible, he has a misinterpretation of that book that he's giving you. And have you ever thought that misinterpretation binds your people to this day? How many of your people are in the Roman Catholic Church? Sending their children to be molested, pouring their money into this organization.
For children.
Yeah. But that's why I'm giving you your heritage back. But before you go, the name of God is Yahweh. Yahweh. And it means he is. He is. His son is not named Jesus Christ. His son, the letter J is only 500 years old. So how can his name be Jesus? It's impossible, right? So his name is Yahweh Shai. And that means he saves. He is the deliverer. The Most High is very straight and to the point because he's a man of war. Right? But I'm not going to tie you up too long, brother. If you've learned anything else, remember your tribe, Issachar, and know that you're an Israelite. Okay? What's your name?
Jerry.
Jared? I'm Kyle, man. I'm out here every Saturday. If you got a moment, come learn your history, man. All right. All right, Jerry. I'm out here usually about 2 p.m. to 3-ish, and then I'll be out here for 2 hours from there. So whenever I get here, probably from 4 to 5, you'll catch me out here.
So what do you do other than this?
What do you mean, like in terms of just this or outside of this?
Outside of this?
Brother, I've done a lot of things.
Like right now you're working or?
No, this isn't a job. See, the thing is, like, this is not for money at all.
Yeah, no, but
So-
what else are you doing? Like
I'm giving, not only are people our heritage back, but I'm also giving out history. So, like, did you know that in Europe, the so-called Dark Ages, you've heard that term, right? You know the reason why they call it the Dark Ages?
Why?
Because black people were ruling Europe for 1,000 years during the Byzantine Empire. That's why if you ever get a chance to look at the art that wasn't painted over, it's black people, basically, and Hispanic. Actually, there's a painting that you can look up called The Final Judgment, right? And it shows the angels of the Most High, basically, like bringing devils, like they're, bondage and stuff like that. But they're marching them essentially into captivity. It's called the Final Judgment. And why is that? Because the Final Judgment is they're going into slavery.
wait, is the roles are switching or what?
Yes, no, that's actually very perceptive. It's going to be a role reversal. So the way you have to go to the white man when you want to buy food, when you want to put shoes on your feet, when you want to get water, they're going to come to you for the same thing because the Bible says that they're going to cleave to you. They're going to cleave to the Israelites. And those who will not serve, Yahweh Shai, your Messiah, Jesus Christ himself, said, those who will not serve, bring them hither and slay them before me. This whole idea that Jesus Christ came to hand out hugs and teddy bears, that's not true. And he only loves his people, Israel. Yeah, it's It's a lie.
Wait, so when is it changing?
Now, the exact date, there is no date. The only person in the Bible who knows of that date of the final judgment is the Most High himself. That's it. But the Bible talks about prophecies. You know, how there will be earthquakes and tempests, wars and rumors of wars. That's going to be the beginning of sorrows. The beginning of sorrows. The beginning of great famine and great death. But it's going to be at the height of World War III, which you know is coming. World War III is coming. At the height of it, that's when Yahushua is going to make his return. So whenever World War III kicks off, you'll know. And at that, well, they're going to switch at the end, yes. And not only are they going to switch, but we're going to be returned to our homeland. This is not our homeland. Africa's not, well, not quite. Israel is your homeland. So all the nations of the world that are on this planet right now, the Fertile Crescent, that area, have you heard of that term from Crescent? Okay. Actually, you seem pretty perceptive.
Yeah.
Are you like one of the smarter kids, typically?
I guess.
You guess?
I mean, I listen.
That's the key to intelligence. But yeah, the Fertile Crescent, that's where all the nations come from.
Right.
That's why they always say we have a common ancestor in Africa. They say that because Israel technically is in Africa. It's in northeast Africa. It's on the very end. So you don't know that because they tell you Africa ends in Egypt, right? And then the rest of that is the Middle East. But how can it be the middle of a direction? Is there a Middle West or a Middle North? Makes you think, right? Y'all are going into slavery for the rape, robbery, and murder of God's chosen people. You Edomites, you so-called white people, are going into slavery for all the rape, robbery, and theft of God's chosen people. And as you walk around on stolen land, pretending like you don't see me, know, devil, that your judgment is coming. Y'all got a second to talk about the Bible? If you go back to indigenous Hispanics, you are likely from the tribe of Issachar. That means you are chosen of God. Issachar means he is hired. Hey, Jerry, I don't want to hold you up too long, brother, but Kyle, I'll be here every Saturday. All right, man. But y'all likely come from the tribe of Issachar. Did you know the Bible talks about you guys being the hardest workers on the planet? The Mexican man is the most hardworking person on the planet. It talks about the animal that represents your nation, the burro, the donkey, crouched down between two burdens. Mexico is located between America and South America. The Bible talks about your people to a T. You are Israelites. Repent and keep the laws. All right, let's grab some more scripture. What we got going on? We're going to grab Jeremiah 4 again. 4 and 20, or actually 4 and 20. This is Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever. So our people are serving our enemies, serving these so-called Edomites on their own land. And in their ignorance, they do not hearken unto the words of the Most High. It truly is sad to see God's chosen people not wanting to take hold and grasp their heritage. But this book foretells of that. It talks about us discontinuing from our heritage that the Most High gave us. And it talks of us serving our enemies in a land that we know not, because we don't recognize this land. That's why so many of us are miserable here, no matter what we do. We're miserable here. Because walking everywhere and having concrete underneath your feet, having no fruit-bearing trees, having no animals, no clean air to breathe, no clean water to drink, that's foreign. That's foreign to anybody who is a forward-thinking person. How much more so the Israelites? We're going to get it one more time. This is Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever. So the Most High is not playing when he talks about us discontinuing from our heritage. He is not playing about everything that is in this book. If it says, thus saith the Lord, you best believe it's going to happen. It's sad. I'm looking at this Issacharite family walk away, and one of their young daughters keeps looking back. She wants to inquire, what is he talking about? It's funny. The children want to know more about the Bible than the adults. And the adults understand more of what I'm saying. But Israel is a stubborn and sottish nation. The Most High compares us to two stupid animals, a donkey and an ox. An ox knoweth his owner, and a donkey his master's crib. But Israel doth not know. Israel doth not consider. Our people never stop and consider. Gee golly, how did I get here to be called an American? Gee golly, how did I get to the west coast of Africa? Was I native to the west coast of Africa, or was I fleeing persecution and I was a refugee there? Like our people never even begin to consider, where do we fit on the world stage? We allow this evil devil that walks up and down stolen land every day to tell us who we are. And the white man is never going to tell blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans who they actually are, because our ignorance is his strength. Y'all are going into slavery for the rape, robbery, and murder of God's chosen people. Whether it was you, your forefathers, the Most High sees you the same. You are going into slavery for what you did to God's chosen people. So we're going to go a little bit more into Jeremiah. Did I say Jeremiah? I hope I didn't say Isaiah. Anyway. This is Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 13. Therefore will I cast you out of the land. Therefore will I cast you out of this land, into a land that ye know not, neither ye nor your fathers, and there shall ye serve other gods, day and night, where I will not show you favor. You have a second to talk about the Bible? Well, sir, do you know? Did you know that you're likely an Israelite if your father goes back to Native Hispanic people?
I understand English a little.
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 Okay. All right.
But I got this in here.
Jesus no es blanco. You know that, right?
No.
Es negro.
No.
Jesus es negro.
Every color?
Well, es Judah. Es
Yeah.
Judite.
Yeah.
But Judah es negro.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yo soy Judah.
Oh.
Yeah. Está, right? You? Está Issachar. Native Mexican from this land?
Yeah.
Issachar. That's your name. That's your tribe. 12 tribes of Israel. You are Issachar in this book. You're an Israelite. Keep the law. Keep the law, brother. All praises to the Most High. This is Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 13. Therefore will I cast you out of this land, into a land that ye know not, neither ye nor your fathers, and there shall ye serve other gods, day and night, where I will show you favor, where I will not show you favor. Salakia. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no longer be said, or no more be said, the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he hath driven them. And I will bring them again into their land, that I gave unto their fathers. So right now, no one is talking about the miraculous acts that the Most High did for the children of Israel. How he liberated us from the Egyptians. How he liberated us from the Babylonians. How he liberated us from all these different nations who had us in captivity. But it is going to shortly and swiftly come to pass that people are going to be talking about how he liberated us from the land of the north, from the hands of these Edomites who are still rape, robbing, and murdering to this day. Sir, do your fathers go back to so-called European people by chance?
Gosh, God only knows, man.
Well, you know.
I'm white.
Yeah, you're right. So, did you know this book says y'all are going into slavery for what y'all did to God's chosen people?
Couldn't care less.
Oh, shit, we said that until we actually went into slavery. Did you know what you guys used to do to us? You would cut our genitals off and eat them, and cut...
You're
Yeah, and did you know that the Bible says, prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers? So you walking around as a burnout on stolen land, your ass is going into slavery. And I can't wait to hear the first whip crack over your people's backs, because you deserve it.
Keep praying for it, all right?
Oh, don't worry, I will, devil. And when that day comes, I want to see the tears, I want to hear the cries, I want to hear everything. Because guess what? Just like what happened to us at the bottom of a cargo slave ship, it's happening to you. Yeah, thumbs up, devil, as you walk around getting burnt up by the sun. Take your ass back to the damn cave. This is Isaiah chapter 33 and verse 1. Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt treacherously not, or they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou hast ceased to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. And when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. So this whole attitude of, well, we're not doing it anymore. We're not whipping you guys anymore. The Bible just said when they cease to spoil, they're going to be spoiled. When they cease to deal treacherously, they shall be dealt with in a treacherous manner. They are going to get back what they put out. One of the things that these Edomites constantly say is that I had nothing to do with it. It was my forefather. But see, they have to understand, the Most High is not, he doesn't view our lifetime as an episode of Friends. It's not just one episode to the next, and they're all separate. It's all contiguous. You are your ancestors. You are your forefathers. You're going into slavery, devil. That's right. That's right. For the rape, robbery, and murder of God's chosen people, you are going into slavery. You've poisoned the air, the water, you've killed all the animals. You have no culture of your own, and yet you still take from us in our low estate. But don't worry, you're going into slavery, devil. And I can't wait. It's going to be a great time. We're going to do to you what you did to us. All this nonsense that Jesus came for everybody, Jesus somehow came to forgive the people who crucified him and his children. You are going into slavery, devil. Yep, thumbs up. And when you turn in your bale of cotton for the day, I expect that thumbs up every time. Going into slavery. It's for the rape, robbery, and murder of God's chosen people. If your father goes back to Native Hispanic people, that would make you an Israelite, but I doubt that. You're looking pretty red out here. We're going to get it one more time. This is Isaiah chapter 33 and verse 1. Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. And when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. They're going to get back what they put out. And that's thus saith the Lord. Ain't no Jesus came for everybody. Ain't no, hey, let's hold hands and let's all go to church together. Ain't none of that. Ain't none of that. You know, everybody talks about justice, but when it's time to hand out justice, nobody wants to talk anymore. Everybody wants to talk about forgiveness and moving on and forgetting about things. But the Most High ain't forgiving nothing, he ain't moving on from nothing, and he ain't forgetting anything. So let's continue on with the lesson. We're going to go to Revelations 2 and 26. Let's see if we can get all the way there. And sisters who are losing faith, you need to understand, we're at the end of this thing. You know, even the white man knows we're at the end of this thing. That's why you have something called the Doomsday Clock. We're less than 30 seconds to midnight. And when it strikes midnight, we're supposed to have a major catastrophic event, whether it's a world war, something is supposed to happen. But this Edomite devil has the sense to know that we're 30 seconds away from midnight. They even know that things cannot continue on the way that they have. Things are going to change. But to our people, this is a scripture that should encourage you to keep the law. This is Revelation chapter 2 and verse 26. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron. As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers. Even as I received of my Father. And I will give him the morning star. The morning star being Lucifer, right? The morning star being leadership, power, preeminence. That's what's being given to Yahushua and the Israelites. And it says here, to those who endure unto the end, those are going to be the ones who receive salvation. Those are going to be the ones who are elect, who are part of the elect, who are given positions of power and authority in the kingdom. Because you're not going to just get off your PS5, drinking a beer, smoking a blunt, and going to the kingdom. How you doing, sister? You got a chance to talk about the Bible? No? Well, before you go, sister, can I just have one word? One word, sister. Did you know if your parents go back to native Hispanic people, you're an Israelite? If it's native Hispanics, you're likely from the tribe of Issachar. That's the first time I've ever seen somebody literally run from the word. Literally. But see, it's convenient to run now. Because if you hear this word and you reject it, that's going to be a mark on you. But it doesn't seem to impact anything else. But if you hear this word and you hearken unto it, you have to do what the word says. You have to keep the law, statutes, and the precepts of the Bible. It's sad to see God's chosen run from their destiny, run from their fate. And that's the thing that we don't understand. If you're chosen of God, there is no running. Look at Jonah. Jonah ran from his duty as a prophet. And the Most High was ready to turn the world upside down. Just to show him, you ain't got nowhere to run. Everything you run to, I created. Everything that you try to ask for help, I made that. I direct their steps. But it's still sad. It's really shameful. But we're going to get it again. This is Revelation chapter 2 and verse 26. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations. So to those of us who really, really want the kingdom of heaven to come into play, keep the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. Because he is going to give you the ultimate catharsis. And that catharsis is in verse 27. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron. As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father. I got a second to talk about the Bible?
Go ahead, brother.
All right. Oh, does your father go back to a native Hispanic person by chance? Native Mexican? How about you, sister? Yes? Well, if your father goes back to native Hispanic people, that would make you an Israelite, likely from the tribe of Issachar. Is your father native Hispanic, or is he Native American?
Hispanic.
Hispanic. That means that you go back to Issachar as well. Did you know the Bible talks about your tribe? Talking about how you guys are the hardest workers on the planet? Yeah. The Bible says that actually Issachar means he is hired. Ishashakar, that's his Hebrew name. Yeah. And it talks about how Issachar is a strong ass, crouched down between two burdens. What's the animal from Mexico? The burro, right? Yeah. And it also says that you guys are going to be crouched down between two burdens. So you've got South America below you, and then you've got North America above you. So you guys are being pulled in two different directions, and you guys are the workhorse for the entire world. I mean, it's evident. When we walk around here, this place would fall apart if it weren't for your people. And I'm actually from the tribe of Judah, but I commend your people, because I can't match what y'all do. Not even close. But I'm going to break you off a little bit about the Bible. Did you know that the one that they ignorantly call Jesus Christ, his name isn't Jesus? Did you know that? The letter J is only 500 years old. So how could his name be Jesus? It can't be, right? So the question should be, what's his name? His name is Yahushua. Yahushua.
Yeah, I've heard that.
You've heard it? Okay, so you've heard of the Hebrew Israelites?
Well, I guess so, if I've heard that.
Yeah, yes ma'am. I would definitely recommend start watching more and start reading more. Because as you know, we're quickly coming into the time where there's not going to be a lot of food available. You know, they're about to make it mandatory for you to get the shot.
Yeah.
I hope you haven't gotten it by
No.
now. Yeah. Because the Bible talks about how they're physicians of no value. You know, the
No,
Bible
I-
covers all these angles. But let me grab this for you real quick. So in Revelations, it talks about the likeness of Yahushua. You know, and when you see the paintings of so-called Jesus Christ, that's a white man. Did you know that white man was actually a person? His name was Cesare Borgia, or Caesar Borgia, however you want to say it. He was the son of Alexander, the sixth pope of Rome, right? And after Cesare Borgia died, he wanted the likeness of his son to be painted for Jesus Christ. Did you know Cesare Borgia was not only a pedophile, but he slept with his own sister and killed his own brother? That's who they give us as Jesus Christ. But Revelations tells us what Yahushua looked like. I'm going to read it to you. This is Revelations 1 and 13. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle. So he had a garment, a long flowing garment down to the foot. In other parts of the Bible, it said that it was like the color of a beryl. And a beryl, I think it's like B-E-R-I-L, it's green. So he had a green garment flowing down. And he had a gold belt around his waist. Have you ever seen wrestling, how they wear those big gold belts? Well, back in the days, they used to wear them because you would get, people would try to stab you, and they were meant to protect your innards. And his head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow. And his eyes were as a flame of fire. So he had woolly hair. Who has woolly hair on the planet? Black people, right? Negro people. Even the African man doesn't have woolly hair. His hair is coarse. Our hair is like the lamb's wool. But his hair was like perfect white wool. Oh, I'm sorry, brothers and sisters. I'm sorry, I didn't notice y'all. Do you guys have a second to talk about the Bible? Just one moment. Did you know that if you go back to black men, your fathers, you're from the tribe of Judah or Benjamin? Did you know that, sister? Okay. Oh, if you guys just have a moment, you guys can sit and get a little bit of your heritage back. Y'all gotta go? That's fine. But just know, y'all are Israelites. Repent and keep the laws, y'all. Repent and keep the laws. Y'all from the tribe of Judah. If you go back to Negro American men. Sorry about that.
Oh no, that's fine.
But he had hair of the pure wool. It was white. Right? And his eyes were as a flame of fire. Because while he was on this planet, he drank wine. I always tell people, can you imagine being Jesus Christ walking around? You've got multitudes of people asking for things, bothering you night and day, and you already know you have to die for them. You're going to be stressed out. So he drank a little bit from time to time. But his likeness is here in verse 15. And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace. And his voice is the sound of many waters. So not only was he the color of brass, but he was so dark that it looked like he burned in a furnace. That means he was almost the color of that bag. And that's how his father looks. Because as Yahushua said, if you've met him or seen him, you've seen the Father. But I mean, it's actually I'm curious before I just talk at you. I know it's a bad habit I have. What do you know about the keeping the laws and things of that nature?
I grew up Catholic, so
Okay. Well, let's start small. So do you know what day the Sabbath falls on?
Saturday.
All praises. All praises. So you know that on that day you're not supposed to cook, you're not supposed to travel. I mean, of course, reasonable traveling, but, and you're not supposed to, really, you're not supposed to kindle a fire. But that goes with cooking, and you're not supposed to work. You know that. Okay. I see you have your dress on, so modest apparel as a woman. All praises. Did you know when you pray to God, you're supposed to cover your head?
Yes.
Okay. Sister, what's keeping you out of the truth? Just wasn't sure?
Yeah.
Well, look up some of the historical evidence. Have you heard of the Los Lunas stone?
No.
It was a stone, I think it was found in New Mexico, and it essentially had Hebrew on it, the Los Lunas stone. But the Taino Indians, basically Puerto Ricans, they have hundreds of artifacts that had Hebrew in them. They found Hebrew, artifacts with Hebrew inscripted on them all throughout America, as well as pyramids. They don't tell you about that either. There are more pyramids here in North America than there actually are in Egypt. So, and I'm sure you noticed the pattern. Wherever the Israelites go, the pyramids follow these monuments and these structures. All the white man has done is he's taken the industrious nature of our people and he made us build this. something that falls apart in 20 years that you have to rebuild over and over and over. But did you have any questions or anything?
No.
No? Okay. But did you know Jesus Christ only came for the Israelites? He didn't come for everybody? You want me to get that for you?
Okay.
All right? Yes, ma'am. Here we go. All right. I'm sure you're familiar with the story when Jesus or Yahushua came into contact with the Canaanite woman, asking him to heal her daughter. Okay. So I'm gonna start there. That's gonna be Matthew 15, and you know what? We'll start at 20. And then Yahushua went thence and departed into the coast of Tyre and Sidon. And behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coast, and cried unto him, saying, Have mercy on me, O Lord, thou son of David. My daughter is grievously vexed with the devil. But he answered her not a word. And his disciples came and besought him, saying, Send her away, for she crieth after us. But he answered and said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So he told her, I'm not sent to you. Everything I've got for you ain't for you, it's for my children. But she showed some amazing character here, right? Then came she and worshipped him, saying, Lord, help me. But he answered and said, It is not meet to take the children's bread and cast it to the dogs. So he called this woman a dog. Right? And she said, True, Lord. Yet the dogs eat of the crumbs which fall from the master's table. She knew where she was in the hierarchy of the nations. Right? Then Yahushua answered and said unto the woman, O woman, great is thy faith. Be it unto thee even as thou wilt. And her daughter was made whole from that very hour. So she received the blessing of the Most High because she understood her position. That's why I'm out here. I'm letting our people know that you are the children of the Most High. And I'm also letting these heathen know, the ones who are walking up and down your land, that not only did you steal it, but God don't love you. He was never sent for you, and you're going into slavery for what you did to his children. You know, that's one thing that the men of Israel are supposed to be doing. When you walk down here, you should see 100 of me sitting here, crying out to all of our people, bidding us to come back. But the Most High only wants a chosen few. That's why you're here, right? All praises, right? Hold on 1 second. I hope they stop and listen, but we'll see. Because as it says in the book of Matthew, chapter 22 and 9, Go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as ye shall find, bid to the marriage. So every waking moment that you have, you're supposed to be doing this. But the Most High knows that, you got a life to live. But at the time, or the times where you do have a moment, make sure you wake up other people around you and let them know who they are. Brothers and sisters, do you guys have a moment? Did you guys know y'all are lucky from the tribe of Judah according to the Bible? That makes y'all Israelites. Did you know that? The same tribe that Yahushua, Jesus, sprung out of? If you're Negro Americans, y'all come out of that tribe. Be proud. Y'all came from the same tribe Jesus came from. Come get your heritage back, brothers and sisters. Keep the laws and repent. I'm sorry, sir, were you familiar with the tribes and stuff in the Bible and how the promises are only for not just Israel but through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? You didn't know that? Well, I would definitely recommend, sir, taking a look in your Bible and start in Genesis so you know who's who, and you can kind of build up to know who the people are from nation to nation. Because as you know, here in America, we do have an overseer, which is the white man. You know that. I'm sure you know that better than I do because you've got more experience. But in terms of your brothers. We know who our enemies are, but who are your brothers? You know, your brothers are the Dominicans from the tribe of Simeon. They're the Levites. Some of them look like me, but you know, Levi was scattered to all the nations of Israel. So you give it enough time, if I sire children with, say, a Puerto Rican woman, and I keep doing it from generation to generation, my children will look Puerto Rican, but they'll still be Judites, right? That's why whenever you meet somebody of, say, have you ever met a white person who can dance and they got flavor? They're probably not a white person.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that. I've heard that white people with really curly hair are not pure. Yeah, I've heard that.
But see, sometimes they're not pure on their mother's side. And if that's the case, they're still of the other nation. But if their father goes back to an Israelite on their father's side, then that means they're an Israelite. No matter how diluted the blood is. That's why you can't shake the salt off. No matter what you do, you can't get rid of it because the Most High made it special. But your brothers are throughout all the different tribes. So I'm from the tribe of Judah. You have your Jamaicans or West Indians and Guyanese people. They're from the tribe of Benjamin. Down in Brazil, you've got the tribe of Asher. You've got down in South America, you've got Zebulon, Naphtali. Basically, we're all here in North America being oppressed together. And that's one of the things in the Bible that says Judah and Israel would be oppressed together. That's going to be in the end times. And that's right now. Right? But hold on one second. I'm going to get y'all a little bit more. And are y'all married by chance?
Yeah.
Okay. So do y'all keep the Sabbath? Y'all keep it? All praises. All praises. Now, I know sometimes it's harder than others to keep it, but as long as you're trying to keep it. Do you guys know any of the high holy days by chance? Passover? Did you guys celebrate that? Did you guys keep Passover?
No, probably not.
Well, go for it next year. So Passover, actually, what month is it? It's April? Nah, if y'all missed it on the first time around. But go for it next year. Get you some lamb, bitter herbs, and some unleavened bread. Start reading up on your word, and really start trying to keep the commandments and keep the high holy days. Because that's going to mean a lot going forward. Do you guys still go to the church by chance? Go to Catholic church?
Okay.
Did you know the Most High doesn't dwell in temples made with hands?
Yeah.
So why go?
Well, we do a lot of it at home too. So I've even talked to a priest about it.
Okay.
About going to confession and stuff. I don't do confession.
Okay.
Because I tell them that the Bible tells me go behind closed doors.
Yeah, not to mention, Jesus Christ himself said, don't call any man father. He said that. So confessing your sins to another man, when the only intermediary between us and the Most High is Jesus Christ, or Yahweh. Just as I told your wife, his name is Yahweh. So the letter J is only 500 years old. So his name can't be Jesus. But do you guys know the name of God by chance as well? So God has a name. Some people call him Jehovah. But you got to remember, J is only 500 years old, right? So his name can't be Jehovah. It's Yahweh. Yahweh. If you want to know the historical document to get that from, it's the Tetragrammaton, right? That's the oldest document that we have that has the Most High's name on it. And they have it as YWHW. I'm sure you've seen that. The YWHW, that's where you get Yahweh from. But it's not Yahweh, it's Yahweh. Because those are the phonetics that were in Paleo Hebrew. Yah, Wah, Shai, stuff like that. That's why you have Yahweh, which is He is, and then Yahweh Shai, which is He is the deliverer. But what else I got for y'all? How much time did you guys have today? Because I was going to do a lesson for a while, actually. Oh, shoot. How long has it been? Oh, shoot. You guys came at the end. Are y'all serious? No, but I'm glad you sat down, because I'm going to be honest. When calling out to Israel, as you guys know, I'm sure you guys have seen it over your lifetime, our people are very hard-headed.
Yeah.
They don't like to be corrected, and they damn sure don't like to be taught. So, if you're trying to teach somebody something, they're not too keen on sitting still for a long period of time and learning. So it was refreshing to have you sit down. Thank you for that. I do appreciate that. But, I know this is, you guys are a little bit older than me, but just to give y'all some words of encouragement, don't let the words of your oppressor get to you. When they don't recognize your talents, when they call you racial pejorative, I know you guys know that they're keeping your people in cages at the border.
Yeah.
Our brothers and sisters. But know that there's a recompense coming for them. And it's not new. It's nothing new. Right? This is the book of Acts. chapter 13 and verse 1. Now, there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon, that were called niggers. They were calling us niggers back then. Nothing's changed. Nothing. So, just make sure that you know that you are chosen of God. That's all you got to know. That'll sustain you through everything that's coming. Are you guys familiar with the mark of the beast and what's coming up and all that? The chip, the RFID microchip? Yeah, don't take that. Don't take it.
Yeah. Heard about all that.
Yeah, we've heard about all that.
But I appreciate it, elders. I'm out here every Saturday, so instead of going to church, come see me. I'll actually, if you guys will come back, I'll have a lesson just for you. I'll have a good 5 or 6 scriptures just for you.
We don't live here, but
We don't live
Oh,
here.
where y'all from?
Go there.
Where's that?
south? Yeah.
Kind of southwest, I
Southwest?
guess.
Towards the very medical for the Walker, Victoria.
That's kind of out west too, right? Southwest, like way, like is
Southwest towards the coast.
okay.
Corpus.
Okay, yeah, okay, I get it. Okay.
We're
Near
kind of
Harlingen
between-
and all that stuff down there?
No,
Or-
between Corpus and Galveston.
Okay, oh, so you guys are right on the coast.
Almost.
Almost.
About
Okay.
30 miles away from the coast.
Well, it's refreshing to see y'all here. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
But before y'all go, what's the name of the Most High? What's the name? Yahweh?
Yeah, how it's at?
Yahweh. His son is Yahweh. But when you go home, look up a group. If you don't mind, look up a group called The Light of Zion. So as a Hebrew Israelite, I'm going to point you in the direction of more, refined elders who can kind of give you more of the basics and then some of the more complex aspects of the Bible. Granted, I'm trying, but I'm going to try as hard as I'm capable.
Yeah.
So I know what I know, but I'm gonna give you over to some elders who know much more than me, and it's The Light of Zion. The Light of Zion. They're on YouTube. They have years worth. I'm talking about 20-something years worth. So,
Okay, thank you. I
yes,
appreciate you.
Sure thing. Most High will look out for y'all. Bless y'all. All right. This is the book of Thessalonians, chapter 2 and verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. The son of perdition is this devil known as the white man. And he has taken great measures and lengths to hide who he really is. Whether it's filtering the word Esau, Edom, or Esau in the Bible, or painting over art from the so-called Dark Ages. You got a moment to talk about the Bible? Sure. Does your father go back to European people by chance?
No clue, man. Sorry.
No? You better figure it out, because if he does, you're going into slavery for the rape, robbery, and murder of God's chosen people. Oh yeah, get that endurance up. Because when you're picking cotton in that cotton field, you have to work from sun up to sun up. And it's going to be a good time. You Edomites walking around on stolen land. Y'all going to get back everything you put on us. All the rape, robbery, and murder that you did to God's chosen people is coming back to you. And you blacks and Hispanics and Native Americans, repent and keep God's laws. Brother and sister, do you know who you are in this book? Do you know who you are in this book, brother? What tribe you belong to? Come holler at me, brother. Come holler at me. Huh? No, they come see me. They got Israelites too. I'm about to leave, brother. Give me 2 minutes. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Can I get 2 minutes? 2. Give me 2 minutes, y'all. All praises. All praises. So you said you're from the Yoruba tribe? And what about you, sir?
I'm not really sure.
Okay. But you know your father's a black man?
Of course.
Okay.
My ancestors were black too.
All praises. So
And I
that
know-
means you in the same tribe I'm from, brother. From the tribe of Judah. And sister, likely you are too. Because the Nigerians have a lot of Israelite roots. I think it's the Igbo and the Yoruba. So actually, you know that more than I do, because y'all keep customs. Y'all have the garbs and all that. So yeah, the blacks who got left on the west coast of Africa, they had more access to keep, the traditions and stuff like that.
Yeah, culture.
Yeah, because the first thing they did when they put us on those ships, they actually stripped us naked. And one of the things that they don't tell you is they didn't actually take a lot of adults. They took mostly children. So all the raping and all that is happening primarily to children. See, this white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Show is, and you're going into slavery. Yes, sir. So, but anyway, did you know that Jesus Christ is a black man? Did you know that?
Of course, yeah.
Well, have you read it though?
Yes, sir.
Where is it at?
I don't know exactly where, but
I'm just
I know
saying, it's Revelation 24.
Hair like wool, and got the hands is like brass.
Right.
Yes,
Hey,
sir.
all praises, brother.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, I'm gonna break y'all up just a little bit, just so y'all can learn something and keep some of the laws.
Of course.
What day is the Sabbath? Day?
Can't tell you.
It's on Saturday.
Saturday.
Sunday is the first day of the week. So, and that's actually one of God's most important laws. On the Sabbath, you're not supposed to work, and you don't kindle a fire. To make it plain, just don't cook. So don't cook, don't work, and don't travel. It's a day of rest. That's one of the easiest laws of the Bible that you can keep.
Gotcha.
All right.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
And then you see these that I'm wearing, called fringes. Right? You're supposed to have fringes on your garments in a border of blue. As a man, you're supposed to have it, and as a female, you're supposed to have it.
What does that represent?
It's supposed to remind you to keep God's laws.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. Man, I appreciate the talk, brother.
Of course, of course.
Keep it up.
All right. Do y'all know the name of God before y'all go?
So many names.
Well, there's only one name that's absolute, and it's Yahweh. Yahweh. That's Paleo Hebrew. That's the holy tongue, right?
Right.
Yahweh. Yahweh. And then his son's name is Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai. When you get home, look up a group called The Light of Zion.
Okay.
The Light of Zion. Actually, if you want to write that down on your phone or something like that, because I want to make sure when y'all get home, y'all get edified and built up. Because when the elect and the 1/3 are sealed, we get out of here, we can get this white man off our back, and we can start beating his ass with a rod of iron. And I cannot wait for that day. That's why I'm out here.
You said the real light of Zion?
The Light of Zion.
The light of Zion.
Thee, and then Light of Zion.
Okay.
All right, brother and sister.
All right, man. You take care.
All right, Yahweh bless y'all. Y'all take care. All right. How much time we got? All right. So Israel, we're going to wrap it up here. I think this is a good point to end it on. We're going to end it on a high point today. I like to say, call halal Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, and all praises be unto the great and almighty power of Israel, Yahweh, and honor be unto his son, Yahweh Shai, and death to America. Can't wait to get out this damn place. Right. Shalom, Israel. Shalom.